Hello and welcome back to Wildlife Hotel. I'm Eric.
And I'm Geoffrey.
Our adventures in New Orleans took us far and wide, all across the French Quarter and beyond. And for today's adventure, we went on a spooky ghost tour that took us to a couple of Louisiana's historic cemeteries.
Let's face it, they're all historic in one way or another.
Searching for ghosts and getting a little history lesson along the way. Okay, maybe a big history lesson along the way, but hey, they let you bring adult beverages with you. Right on the bus.
This is the kind of adventure where you get what you take out of it. Neither of us really believe in ghosts, but regardless, we had a ton of fun playing ghost hunters for a bit. What was even better though was the history, the famous graves we got to visit, and of course, our amazing tour guide.
After stopping at a Willie's Chicken for a pre-ghost tour daiquiri, we walked over to the meetup point right outside of Voodoo Tavern on Decatur Street and joined the crowd. The tour guides split us off into smaller groups, and we hopped on our bus and set off. It felt kind of weird walking onto a bus with multiple adult beverages in hand, but almost everybody had a drink of some kind. It felt scandalous, like we were getting away with something.
But it's not really about the adult beverages. In fact, they encourage responsible consumption right on the listing on Viator. So it's less of a party bus and more of a drink one or two with dinner kind of bus? Okay, maybe three. Okay, a little partying. Okay, maybe two big ones. Pace yourself. No one knows your tolerance like you do. Anyway, on our way to our first stop, our tour guide walked us through the plan. He encouraged us to take as many photos or videos as we wanted, and if we found anything, he wanted to know about it. I don't believe we found anything, but we sure did have a lot of fun looking.
The tour stops by several historic sites, starting at the Masonic Temple Cemetery No. 2. Founded in 1865, this Louisiana cemetery is known for its unusual gravestones, and you may have already figured out why. The Masonic Temple Cemetery No. 2 was founded by none other than the Grand Lodge of State of Louisiana Free and Accepted Masons.
That's a mouthful. You heard us right, the Freemasons. You'll find their insignia on several gravestones and kind of just all over the place in the cemetery. You could probably dedicate an entire YouTube series to the rich history behind this cemetery and the people who were buried in it, but we have a ghost tour to continue.
The next stop on our tour was not a cemetery at all. No, it was the city park. And not only is this park absolutely beautiful, no matter what time of day, it's also one of the oldest urban parks in the entire country. But why are we here? Is there a cemetery here? Are there ghosts? Well, if you ask the right people, just about everywhere in Louisiana is haunted, and I'm sure there's a rich history here.
I mean, the park has been around for 170 years. There's got to be some history here.
But no, that's not why we're here. We're here for beignets.
One of the stops on this cemetery tour isn't a cemetery at all. It's actually Morning Call, famous for its delectable beignets and pretty great coffee. Also, there's a restroom here, and after all those adult beverages that everyone but me had, sometimes you need a pit stop. Be sure you do, because it's a long trip before the next opportunity. Beignets and coffee aren't included in the cost of the tour, but we highly recommend you treat yourself while you're here, especially if you've had Café du Monde's beignets. Then you could join the hot online debate over which is better.
I think we prefer Café du Monde.
Do not add us.
But any restaurant that starts the kind of piping hot, deep-fried debates we've seen on the internet has got to be doing something right. Right?
What were we talking about? Ghosts? Yeah, ghosts.
The third and final stop is as somber as it is stunning. We stopped at the Hurricane Katrina Memorial, built on the former site of the old Charity Hospital's Potter's Field. This memorial serves as the resting place for 85 unclaimed victims of Hurricane Katrina.
In 2008, 3 years after Katrina, 85 bodies were yet to be buried. And on August 29th, 2008, the third anniversary of Katrina, the final 7 were led by a jazz funeral procession to the Hurricane Katrina Memorial for some much-needed closure and a small sense of resolution.
Surrounded by a storm-shaped series of walkways and tall, ominous plaques, we clearly weren't here to hunt ghosts anymore. We were here to reflect and remember, to take a contemplative moment of silence and respect before hopping back on the bus to go back to the starting location of our tour.
It's almost like they want you to learn something on these tours, huh? It's almost like maybe some of the ghosts on this tour were more metaphorical in nature. Again, this is the kind of tour where you get what you take out of it, and while we definitely had a ton of fun sipping on some adult libations and learning a little bit about the expansive history of Louisiana, sometimes it's good to stop and take a minute to honor those no longer with us.
This got a little heavier than we intended. If you're interested in taking this exact tour, check out the link to Viator below, or is it Viator?
Who knows?
It's $40 a person, and before you ask, no, we're not sponsored in any way. We don't get kickbacks or affiliates or any of those things.
We just had fun.
We just had fun. And we thought we'd save you the trouble of looking for yourself. Thank you so much for joining us. New Orleans is amazing any time of year, but if you're looking for a spooky time Halloween adventure, it's the perfect place to be. Check out this playlist if you want to see more about our trip to New Orleans, and check out this playlist if you want to learn about Japan. And until next time,
Laissez le bon temps rouler.